Hello everyone, it is me Peep Peep, and welcome back to Saint Spells Part 3. It's been a while since I last played. I'm sorry, I've been busy playing other games, but I really hope you guys are excited to see this game once again. I do want to say though, my mic has kind of broke a little bit, so I'm hoping it'll sound okay. If not, that'll really suck. But this is my background. This will be the last time I use this background for a while, because winter's almost over, if not basically over. So hopefully I'll have a spring background soon if I remember to do it. But anyways, let's just get right into it, shall we? Today is Wednesday. You have alchemy. Go to class? Yes, I'm a good kid. Not in school though, I would skip a lot. Do not be like me. Go to class. Who would you like to approach? Our friend, of course. We're not making any new friends this playthrough, we just want him. You try to find Simon, but the professor's already starting their lesson. Why? Why does this always happen? Make you hastily make a random seat. With great power comes great responsibility. What a stupid saying. Transmute gold. The professor goes on, caught up in his spiel. You can craft gold, then you deserved it. If you can craft gold, then you deserve it. That's hard work right there. Somehow it seems personal for the professor. Wouldn't that cause inflation or something? You're not sure what sort of lesson, much less a moral one, you're supposed to be learning here. Does that really hit? Got little hairs all over my microphone. Maybe that's why it broke, because I put it on the floor. You have study of maledictation, maybe. Sure, let's go to class. Who knows, what if we skipped? We saw someone else. Who would you like to approach? Oh, I have a lot more people. I kind of want to talk to our buddy. Didn't you stop being friends with us last time? We tried to find Simon, but the professor's already starting their lesson. I'm hastily take a random seat. Who is this fellow? Hello. The TA brushes past your desk to deliver handouts for the lecture. I like your glove. A strange chill runs down your back, as if you feel that something is not quite right. Oh, what does that mean? It's noon. Who do you want to spend lunchtime with? Our buddy. Simon made himself scarce since your conversation about his accusation. The less you see of him, the more worried you are you that he's resigned to his fate of giving a shoddy explanation and facing the consequences, even if it's expulsion. You make several attempts to confront him, but he dodges your approaches or makes a break for it before you can even get a word in. He's impossible to catch on foot, and you know by now that there is no point to chasing him down. You rinse and repeat this cycle, but just when you're on the verge of giving up, he finally seems to relent. See? You can't give up. He sees that a lot of people have given up on him or started his accusations already, and they just don't like him, and you gotta make sure that, yes, we care about you, dude. He passes you a note, asking to meet. Simon is punctual this time, though seemingly at the cost of his general well-being. His hair is noticeably more disheveled, a feat in and in of itself. The bags under his eyes are obvious, and he isn't fiddling with anything besides his own hands. He switches between twiddling his thumbs, doing hand stretches, and kneading his own fingers every few seconds. Okay, we're not going to say, you're not running away this time, that's mean. This one's really mean. Hey there, jerk, how's life been treating you? That's so mean! We're not doing that, okay? I just want to better understand what's going on. I might try to be mean later on, but for now, we're just gonna be nice. I mean, like, in another playthrough. So, I just want to better understand what's going on. Simon hums an acknowledgement first, but he considers his words carefully. Slowly, he nods. Then, he looks up to meet your gaze. I know. It's the least I owe you. Mind you, I didn't rehearse this. I didn't bring notes either. Hidden among his words is an underlying plea of patience, which you grant with a degree of reluctance. You sit across from him with an expectant look. Simon breathes out a heavy sigh, like he's trying to exhale the weight of his emotions. He clasps his hands together, keeping them still if only for a few minutes. He starts quietly. First of all, I'm sorry for messing with your phone. That was uncalled for. You ask him how he was able to give you a near-exact version of your phone. Simon pauses. I'll get to that in a bit. His hand grips each other a little harder. I don't like talking about it. You wait for him to continue. Second of all, I can promise you that I didn't cheat on that quiz. Don't worry, dude, we believe you. It's just that, well, if it hadn't been from a few years ago, I wouldn't be able to say that. Oh. That doesn't mean I trust your promise. Now, that seems kind of mean. What do you mean? I mean that I didn't exactly have I'm a good egg on my resume. I've done some things that I'm not proud of. He gauges your reaction, and I think it's something you deserve to know, if nothing else. Simon swings his tail around and takes the tip with both hands. My magic lets me create imperfect duplicates of objects. I used it for mostly harmless stunts growing up. He grimaces. Then, while I was in college, my dad got sick. Really, really sick. Simon squeezes his eyes shut, trying to cope with the pain of the recollection. Stuttering. And when you're facing stakes like that, you get desperate. You stare at Simon, already having a hunch on where the story is going. I kinda do, but I don't really know for sure. Guilt murs his features, and it hurts to see him like this. I stole. I delivered. If there was money I could put towards my dad's treatment, I did it. I even used my magic when they weren't looking to make it all go smoother. Simon opens his eyes again. But once I met my quota and wanted out, they wanted me to stay in. They threatened me when I said no. He chuckles, the sound hollow. So I ran. They eventually cornered me. Next thing I knew, I was waking up in Inferna. And before you're able to ask anything, Simon clasps his hands, raising one to gesture. He silently imitates a gun going off before dropping his hand back to his lap. Oh. His words hang in the air, and Simon gives you time to process everything. You find your voice again. You did everything you could. And everything I could, and what did it get me? Simon Sales lashes behind him agitedly, but he reins himself in. Sorry, I didn't mean to snap like that. Thinking about everything again just gives me a headache, to say the least. He rubs one of his horns wearily. Simon rises up from his seat, taking a few steps away. He looks out into the distance, the light in his eyes dim and hazy. I wanted to have the last word, you know. After I first started running from them, I worked with an investigator who had been after my employer for years. I retrieved evidence, but it all went downhill once I realized I took something particularly incriminating and replaced it with a copy. He suddenly throws up his hands with a frustrated shout and moves like he's about to storm off. But Simon doesn't. Instead, he straightens up again and looks back at you. Nothing I did mattered. At the end of the day, I still ended up dead. Oh gosh. Simon crouches down, hugging his knees to his chest and wrapping his tail around himself. Is he a copy of himself? There's no point in trying. The world operated in cycles in the fiendish's mind. You finally understand what that to Simon. The accusation of academic dishonesty was simply the events of his life coming back around to repeat themselves, just in a non-life-threatening manner. The last time he desperately struggled to seek a way out, everything had gone awry, and Simon paid for it with his life. Now he seemed resigned to simply suffer the consequences as they came to him. Go to crouch next to him and comfort him. Go to crouch next to Simon and put a hand on the shoulder. He snaps his head at you, but he doesn't move away or try to bat your hand away. Slowly, he lifts one hand and places it on top of yours, on his shoulder. Simon manages a weak smile before softly murmuring, "Thanks, Jamie." You hear the fire alarm go off, probably. My stepdad's working on it. You stay like this for a moment. Simon doesn't say anything, and neither do you. Wait, I don't have my pronouns on my thing. There we go. Now I got them. He, him, by the way. Simon doesn't say anything, and neither do you. He purses his lips, the Gira turning his head and shifts his focus back to the present situation. Worst comes to worst, expulsion is better than dying again. I didn't like Inferna. I guess I can manage. Don't give up. Things will be different this time. Simon looks at you almost incredulously. You can't know that for sure unless you've got future sight or something. Despite this, he relaxes at your words, his pessimism giving way to the tiniest spark of hope. But hearing it from you makes me want to believe it's possible. He pauses and lowers his voice. That anything's possible. Simon finally stands, stretching out his legs. You stand as well, and Simon abruptly turns to you. Jeremy, Though he falters, he pushes on. His resolve slowly but surely is solidifying. I'm going to try, after all. The statement isn't grand by any means, but it's a step forward in the right direction. Simon presses his hands flat against his thighs. I'd like your help reassuring my statement, Jeremy. Please. You got it, boss. You give a salute to the deal, and Simon can't help but laugh. Let's keep up that can-do attitude. He jokes, his usual energy returning to his voice. I'm gonna need as much of it as possible. Simon puts on his hand. When you take it, he shakes firmly. You expect him to let go immediately afterwards, but he lingers. Simon squeezes your hands. Your eyes meet. I won't let you down. He swears, a promise made only to you. You tell him you know he won't. Hooray! Friendship back. You have some free time until your next class. What do you do? We are hungry. Cook something. Become a slightly more well-rounded person. You can feel your charisma increasing. You have potions. Go to class? Yes. Would you like to approach? Try to find Simon. Okay, we already know this. We can't talk to anyone before class, it seems. Today you're making an elixir deadly enough to kill 10 men with a single drop. We're only making this as a demonstration of these ingredients and intermingling. Drink the death elixir? I really want to, though. I really want to. Yes! You like the taste of death and danger. You sip the potion. You feel like a bad student plus 10. Ugh. Damn. You fade to nothingness. Wait, do I actually die? Fail! Death! I died! Okay, cool. We got a death ending. But alas, we are not done. I just wanted to see how that happened. No, you dumb poopy butt. Yeah, I wouldn't either. Well, I did. I like how we can actually die, though. That's funny. It's now after school hours. Extracurriculars are now in session. What do you do? What do I do? I don't remember what half these things do. Let's go to this place. This place. Yeah, that sounds good. You were in the forest. Crushable mushrooms. We already did that. Let's practice some magic. The cool shade and scent of pines clear your mind. It prepares you for practice. You can feel your intelligence increasing. Clearly not, because I don't know how to speak. You are minding your own business when... Huh? You're tackled down into the flowers. Grass blades tickling your cheeks and wind knocked out of your lungs. The body that presses into the dirt is large and not very soft, but cushioned with clothes. Coughing, you blurrily readjust your eyes to identify the offending lump on top of you. Oh my gosh! It's the fella! It's the guy! He giggles as you meet his eyes, looking all too pleased for what he's done. He's still on top of you, in fact, warm body temperature, encompassing you like a blanket. Let him lay over you? Let him lay over us. You simply let him lay over you. It's almost comfortable, like a weighted blanket. Dude, I love that feeling. So, that's why I really let him lay on us. And you know what? I'm gonna sleep now. His chest rumbles and you feel, rather than hear, his giggle in response to your reaction. Eventually he rolls off you. Rather than getting up and helping you up like a good Samaritan, he remains next to you, body pressed against your side as a constant reminder. Okay, why am I not into this? What was that for? You ask, disgruntled, but nonetheless curious as to why he body slammed you. Bugbear isn't even looking at you. However, despite so rudely grabbing your attention, his gaze is turned to the sky. Isn't the weather nice? This guy he's a hoot for sure. He sings songs with a dreamy smile in a lieu of answering. You stare hard. You're letting out a long-suffering sigh. You reckon you'd never get a straight answer out of him. Roland, you also turning your sight upwards. The clouds drift idly above. I suppose. It is, yeah. Even though you can't see his face right now, you can feel the smile that stretches across his expression. You sigh. Maybe you'll never understand this strange character. Are those eyes right there? In the background? Creepy. It's now evening. You have some free time before the day ends. What should we do? Maybe we should learn? What is this? Bright profanities on the board? Not this time. Don't worry, I'll probably do a playthrough where I'm a bad person. Study. The smell of chalk is comforting as you scratch away at your notes. The academic atmosphere helps you focus on your work for a history of magic. You can feel your intelligence increasing. You feel like a better student. It's not paranoia, but you swear you heard footsteps following you. Well, they could always want to study with us. You never know. Wednesday is over now. Today is Thursday. You have some free time until your next class. What do you do? Should we eat breakfast? I think we should. Cook something. You have your meals for the next week. Yay! You have some free time until your next class. What do you do? Do this one. You were in the library. We're gonna read. We studied it quite a bit already. Oh, what to read today? Your finger slips through the pages of the 3 trolls and a mallet. You feel intelligence +2 increasing. What? My intelligence gets better when I'm just reading? I guess that makes sense because you're thinking of creativeness when you're reading and you're not just thinking about things to study, so I guess that can make sense. It's noon! Who do you want to spend lunchtime with? You know who. I guess we could talk to that guy, but we're gonna talk to our best buddy. It's his playthrough, isn't it? In the time that you have before Simon is scheduled to give his statement, you run through different exercises to help him keep his cool and temper his nervous tics. So, this is why we want to keep talking to him, because I forgot we were supposed to do this, and what if I didn't, and then he messed up, and, we gotta help him out a little bit. I think he can do it pretty good on his own, but, he's our friend, we're gonna help him. You learn that he has a handful of obvious ones, the most prominent of which is his tendency to avoid eye contact. Man, I don't like that contact is such a big deal. I hate eye contact, I don't really stare at your eyes, and it makes me scared because, what if I'm staring for too long? As the appointment time approaches, ever looming on both of your minds, Simon gives his farewells. Well, Jamie, this is about as good as it's gonna get. He moves towards you, but stops himself. It might have been your imagination, but Simon almost looked like he wanted to go in for a hug. Oh my gosh. Instead, however, he opts to clap you on the shoulder, civilly. Thanks for everything. If you see me getting launched from the school grounds, then yeah. Simon is called in by the professor, and he waves goodbye with one last smile. Poor guy. The whole affair is a little lackluster in spite of the stakes. The sound of the door closing is louder than you anticipate. Simon had told you that you didn't need to wait for him. You linger in the hallway regardless, trying to keep your mind off the situation by being on your phone. The minute drags on. I always put the words wrong. The minutes drag on. The door finally opens again. Simon exits alone. He turns back towards the room to quietly say something. Simon dips his head before closing the door, noticing you. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Jeremy, you're still here. I mean, at least they didn't launch you straight off campus. Should I say that? Yeah, no kidding. Simon mumbles, his posture deflating so dramatically you almost hear the corresponding sound effect. I was pretty sure they were about to a couple of times. You probably would have known for sure if you've been here the whole time. Simon's eyes light up, the tension all but leaving him. In all seriousness, we went over the quiz again, and I was able to explain all my answers. It tracked with all the other statements that supported me. Unable to contain his joy, Simon lets out a whoop and fist bumps. So, yeah, I'm in the clear. I can just imagine him doing it. Pride blooms in your chest. You congratulate Simon, and he grins at you. Shucks, Jamie, but you should be giving yourself a pat on the back. Pat on the back for me, because I helped my best buddy. I wouldn't have made it this far without you. You know, it's not all me. You're doing good yourself, and I'm glad that I can be a great friend, mentor, whatever to help you out. Simon practically skips your way as he takes your hand. Come on, this is worth celebrating. Yeah, drink some alcohol. Aren't you also of age? I don't remember. I think he's older than me, actually. He merely tugs you along, locating a vending machine and treating you to a drink of your choice. I don't like alcohol, I'm just goofing. I don't really like to drink, though I'm of age. He gets lemonade for himself, and the satisfaction as he opens the bottle is plain as day. Ah, I would like some pink lemonade. I have some right next to me, actually. You find seats nearby to sip your beverages. Ah, that hits the spot. Simon caps his bottle and sets it aside before turning to you. Seriously, though, I owe you a solid. From upping my grades to this. If there's anything I could do for you, just say the word. Kiss? No! You can take me out for lunch or dinner. Date! My eyes are literally watering. Take you out for... Simon's completely flustered. His tail goes from, Ramroyd straight behind him. If you look closely, the tips of his ears have gone a little red. Well, it might take me until my next paycheck from my work study, and I did say anything I could do. Ooh! Simon rubs his back of his neck before mumbling. Give me a bit to think about, okay? From a financial standpoint, I mean, if I'm gonna treat you to a whole meal, I'm gonna want to go all out, you know? Just, you know, moving my feet around. He continues drinking until he's emptied his bottle. Spotting a nearby recycling bin, he takes aim and throws his empty-up bottle. Does he miss? It sails in a clear arc and lands. Yeah! Simon smiles, pleased with himself, and you roll your eyes fondly. You finish your drink and try tossing it to the recycling as well. We fail. Just as it leaves your hand, Simon darts out of his seat and catches the container with a whoa! He had let it continue. Had he let it continue, it would have clattered on the ground a few inches away from the bin. Simon deposits the container and returns. Yeah, we're just not that good. He sits without saying anything for a moment, but the drag in your conversation doesn't feel awkward. Simon's hands still fidget, though significantly less than before. His body language is calm, not restless in the slightest, and you can't recall the last time you've seen him this calm. Hey, Jeremy. Simon asks, lifting his gaze to yours. Do you remember when we first met? Oh! And I asked you something when you first approached me? I don't remember what it was, I'm sorry. Sorry, my memory's a little fuzzy. Hey, don't worry about it. I wish I knew, because I really don't remember. Simon pats you on the back. Basically, I asked if you bothered to talk to someone like me, it'd have some merit for yourself. Simon's eyes shift to the floor. He drums his fingers on his legs a few times before letting them come to rest. During the last year or so, before I was resurrected, I didn't have the opportunity to make a lot of meaningful relationships. He bows his head. Okay, so he's not a copy of himself. Every interaction I had with a different person was weighed in what we could give and take from one another. I'd forgotten what it was like to just be with someone. Simon clasps his hands. You let his words sink in. When I first told you what the proof said that the proof thought I cheated, I kind of got in my head that you were just pitying me. That there's no way you want to associate with me any longer now since I was in that position. At the time, I don't think I would have blamed you if even it stung as bad as it did. And I figured I was doing you a favor by deleting my number and just cutting off contact. Simon turns to you, his lips quirking up in a small smile. But the fact that you still sought out and helped me, brought me out of that just a bit. Since I met you, I felt like I've actually been living my life. I haven't felt this way before since I got resurrected. His smile breaks out into a wide grin. I'm so happy we talked to him first, because he's just such a nice guy. Simon suddenly turns away, breathing in a shuddering breath. Sorry, just got a little something in my eye. He sniffles and glances at you from the side. Man, this game. I think next time I get paid, I'm definitely going to give this person some money for this game, because it's just so good. I'm like, this game is free. And there's definitely way more characters. This is amazing. This is such a good game. I'm definitely going to try to if I remember. At the risk of sounding like a broken record, I guess what I mean is to say is thank you. Not just for everything that you've done, but for being a decent person around me. It means more than you'll ever know. Simon wipes his tears on the back of his sleeve. And I'll work hard on my end too, to make this worth your while. You are already worth my while. Simon blinks at you before covering his mouth with his hand. Oh geez, I'm gonna start crying again. Dude, don't cry, you're gonna make me cry. He doesn't, but it takes every ounce of restraint he has. His lips quiver as he beams at you with unadulterated happiness. Thanks, Jeremy. Right back at ya. Simon pushes himself off the bench, patting off his hands against his legs. He turns back and offers his hand to help you up. A childlike giddiness lights up in his eyes, the weights holding him down are gone now. All that's left is someone ready for a new day. One he's hoping to spend with you. Here's to the road ahead, eh? Smiling, you echo his sentiments. Here's to the road ahead. You take his hand. It's warm. Isn't that so sweet? You have a history of magic. Yes, we're going to class. Whatever. Can we actually approach him this time? You start to notice little things about Simon you hadn't really registered in your initial interactions with him. He unconsciously emotes with his hands, often making more exaggerated gestures when talking about something he's particularly passionate about. He wags his tail slowly when happy or deep in thought. He rubs his horn with one hand when distressed, and runs his hand through his hair when unwinding. You dismiss the observations until you come to the realization that every single one of them endures you on some level. Your thoughts hover over Simon, and you can't help but wonder if it's because you've gotten closer, or if it's something beyond that. We're in love! Earth and Alterna are joined by magical gateways, bridged between the two worlds that allow the front of magic to flow freely among all people. Long before the peaceful rule of the Circle, the human and anima empires wearied against each other, fighting for domination over the magic-imbued lands. With every battle, more and more humans and anima were killed until the anima met the brink of extinction. Desperate, the last remaining Vegites of anima searched for a way to end the everlasting wars and found an ancient ritual sealed away by their ancestors. They were none knowing of what evil they would unleash upon the worlds. The anima created a creature of nightmares and darkness in an unholy ritual known in history books as the Sacrament. The poor creature born of bloodlust and hunger was called the Umbra, and was unleashed upon mankind to feed on their souls to satisfy its endless starvation. Hundreds of thousands of spellcasters died, and yet more still were transformed into grotesque abominations that no person could stand to behold, called the Shambling Nightmares. Humanity had lost their great war, but as their numbers dwindled, the anima found their great creation turned its back on them. All across Alterna, light faded from the realm, leaving the world plunged into 30 long days of darkness and silence called the Nightfall. Wow. Some lore dropped on us? dropped on us very intently. You are already done with classes for the day. What do you do? You know what? Let's hang out here. You are at the gardens. You wander around the gardens a bit, appreciating the beauty of the flowers. Charisma +1. Oh, there's that guy. You find Bugbear trotting out one freshly fished salmon. He giggles, putting a finger to his lips with a shy smile. What a fascinating fella. It's now after school hours. Extracurriculars are now in session. What do you do? Bath. This bath thing. You are in the bathhouse. You get squeaky clean. +2 charisma! Is that a little fishy in the corner? It's now evening. You have some free time before the day ends. Let's see. Yeah, let's go here. You are at that arena. Practice magic. The scuffling as other students spar inspires you to practice your own combat spells. You feel your intelligence increasing. +1. Thursday is now over. Hooray! Today is Friday. You have study of malediction. Yes, let's go to class. Got a lot of people in this class, don't we? Where's our boy at? There he is. Almost missed him. Look at him, so cute. You start to notice little things about Simon and... What? We already know this. Why did it say the same thing twice? Professor Grimsley gives a particularly spirited lecture on the moral quandaries of psychology of those who chose to practice in black magic. You're always surprised by the grave note that taints the lectures of this course. In the end, he suggests the sugar may slow down, but not stop, the onset of corruption. Very interesting. I like the little stairs going up to the hallway. You're already done with classes for the day. What? Already? What do you do? We had one class today. Let's go to the library. You are in the library. We're going to study. The smell of books is comforting you as you scratch away at your notes. The atmosphere helps you focus on your work for history of magic. You can feel your intelligence increasing. I'm a better student now. Oh, you're so cute. Because you have trouble with material in class, you decide to ask to tutor you? To your delight, she accepts, and here you are now, sitting just the hair's breadth away. Okay, well, that's cool. It's noon. What do you want to spend who do you want to spend lunchtime with? Ooh, let's see. You know who we're gonna hang out with, our buddy. You spend the lunch period with Simon. Oh, that's it. Does anything else happen with us? I just want to know. You're already done with classes for the day. What do you do? I don't know. We haven't been to the nurse's office in a while. You are in the infirmary. Get a checkup. Doesn't hurt to check. You haven't been eating anything weird lately, have you? Oh, you are so cute. I love everyone. They all look so good. See a student searching for something, seemingly distressed. Help them. Is everything alright? The individual pauses in the research, vibrant red eyes meeting yours. No, I'm looking for my wand. A frown crosses their features as they respond briefly, soon turning back to their search. I lost it, and class is starting soon, so they add voice trailing off, perhaps implying they don't have time to talk. You blink a couple times. Let me help you then. What does it look like? They look at you with a hint of surprise, but they hardly seem upset by the offer. It's like a little dog thingy. It's made out of wood. Dog thingy? You aren't sure what you're expecting, but it wasn't quite that. It seems a little simple to be a wand. Well, regardless. Alright, you got it. You get low to the ground, searching under objects for the wooden dog thingy. Minutes trickle by, but you eventually manage to find a small dog figurine. If you picking it up, you turn You turn it in your hand, examining it. It's small enough to fit within your palm, made of cream and dark gray wood, and surprisingly soft. This couldn't possibly be a wand, could it? You ponder the figurine. Your search partner pipes up. You found it! Thank you! Seriously! You blink amid surprise, and you hand it over to them. No problem at all, Oh shit. Forgot to introduce myself. I'm Phoenix. What's your name? Jeremy. Well, Jeremy, I'll pay you back for this sometime, promise? They leave with a wave, wooden dog wand thingy in hand. Nice! You're already done with classes for the day. What do you do? You know what? We're gonna go back to the forest. Maybe we'll meet that weird fella again. You are in the forest. We're going to exercise. Take us a nice hike through the trees, being careful not to trip over the garden roots. Yeah, strength 1. Heck yeah! It's so funny we're only on one class today. It's not through school hours. Extracurriculars are now in session. What do you do? Whatever this is. Is this resting? Oh, we're gonna rest. You were in the dorms. We're gonna study, why not? And it's quiet in your room. The only sound the scratching of your quill. The calm atmosphere helps you focus on your work for potions. You can feel your intelligence increasing. You feel like a better student. It's now evening. You have some free time before the day ends. I feel like, I don't know. This, I guess. You are at the fields. Practice magic. The wide open space helps you focus on your magic. You feel your intelligence increasing. Oh, bonjour! I don't think I've seen you around before. You find yourself face to face with a brightly dressed man. Despite the cool dress code of neutrals, he had added several areas of color into his outfit. A green vest rests snugly across the broad chest and set of shoulders. His white uniform shirt is unbuttoned to reveal pale skin and a peek at what is clearly muscle beneath. His boots have mismatched spats in cotton candy pink and blue. Perhaps the most interesting component of his ensemble is the strange choice of accessories. In a place of normal buttons, his shirt has what looks to be peppermints, while his vest boasts a colorful array of gumballs. Upon his fingers, he wears gold rings topped with tiny rock candy crystals in place of gemstones. His hair is bright orange, his eyes are a deep sea green with a small beauty mark besides the right one. You briefly wonder if the candy beckoning his outfit is actually edible. Though his appearance is anything but conventional, his smile is kind and pleasant. There is a comforting warmth in his gaze as he meets yours. Placing a hand over his heart, he offers a short bow as he introduces himself. I'm Darcy Levique, the R.A. for House Sirius. You are? I'm Jeremy. It's a pleasure to meet you, Jeremy. Welcome to our magical academy. Hope to see you around campus more. If you ever need help with anything, feel free to find me. I'm often in the garden. With another smile, he relieves you to continue on your way. Oh, what a nice fella. Friday is now over. A long-awaited weekend has finally arrived. Simon invites you out to the campus cafe to spend some time together, assuring you that he'll dress up for the occasion. You've grown so used to seeing him in plaid that you still can't detach the pattern from your mental image of him. You agree to dress a little nicer as well, teasing Simon about it being a date. He gets uncharacteristically quiet at your comment before mumbling something that you can't hear. The afternoon sun is bright and cheerful by the time you arrived at the cafe. Simon is waiting for you at the front entrance. As usual, you recognize the telltale frizzy hair and horns, but his outfit gives you pause. He traded out his usual dark t-shirt for a plain white dress shirt. More shockingly, said shirt is tucked into his pants properly, and he has a full button waistcoat in place of his usual flannel. We're seeing his flannel, though. His jeans have been replaced with a fitted pair of slacks. Still, imperfections remain in his attire, traits that undoubtedly points back to Simon's fashion tendencies. His collar is still a little crooked, his sleeves aren't quite rolled up evenly, and his resolutely wearing his usual sneakers in favor of dress shoes. "Hey, Jeremy, looking sharp." Simon wiggles finger guns at you. "Yep, this is Simon, all right." You express similar sentiments, but point to his shoes. Simon huffs, crossing his arms. "Pardon me, but shoes are expensive. And besides, those are my most comfortable pair." Despite the indignation in his voice, Simon pulls on the cafe door and holds it open for you. His gesture is for you to enter first, with a little flourish of his hands and a shallow bow. You can't help but laugh as you follow his cue and step inside. You and Simon chat while waiting in line, and he strikes up a conversation with the cashier when you're finally at the front. He insists on treating you, and once your order is placed, you go to find seating. Simon takes your hand and leads you to a high table next to the window. You sat next to each other on the stools and watch the clouds through the glass. When your number is called, Simon goes to fetch your order. "Here you are." He places your drink in front of you. You thank him as he slides back into his seat. "Hey, don't worry about it. I'm the one who asked for this in the first place." Simon takes a sip from his own beverage, but despite how casual he looks at first glance, you see him restlessly tapping the pad of one finger against the table. His tail is held stiff behind him, and he's no longer really meeting your gaze. "Is everything okay?" You ask after a short drag in your conversation. Simon hesitates. His hands go still. He takes a deep breath and clears his throat. "I actually wanted to use this opportunity to tell you something." "Uh-oh." Simon turns to you, and hope and appreciation flickers in his eyes, an ever-shifting flame that makes his eyes seem to glow. He straightens up, taking his hands off the table to press them flat on his legs. "Listen, Jeremy, Simon swallows for good measure, then speaks so softly you can just barely hear him above all the background noise of the cafe, a secret for your ears only. "I like you a lot. Not just friends, kind of, you know?" Dude! I wasn't actually expecting him to do this. Also, I just realized our intelligence and charisma and good is all 12. Isn't that amazing? Simon stammers out, speaking a little faster with every new sentence. "You don't have to feel the same way. It's totally fine, but on the off chance that you do, well, man, I didn't think I'd actually get this far." He chuckles nervously, his face gradually getting more red. Even the tips of his ears are getting pink, and if you look closely, the back of his neck is turning similar color under his shirt collar. Well, all the words are just slipping right out of my head. Simon trails off, giving you some space and time to think about what he just told you. It isn't by any means a coherent confession, but you can't help but be endeared by Simon's earnestness. But by this point, he's dropped his gaze back to his lap, but his eyes flit to you occasionally, a brief glance before he's back to staring at his hands. You've never seen him this shy before, but it's a painfully adorable sight to behold. Very hard to speak. "You really feel this way about me?" Your question is gentle, and Simon's head immediately snaps up. "Of course!" He blurts this out, quick but firm. One of his hands goes to rub his other forearm. His tail curls behind him into a spiral shape. He tears his eyes away from you, opting to try staring holes into his drink. Geez, how do I say this? You were already a great friend to me ever since you met. Then somewhere down the line, my feelings became what they are now. We didn't think it was possible, but Simon's face gets even redder. And yeah, realizing that he rambled again, Simon forces his mouth shut, lips pressing into a thin line. It's clear Simon has gone out of his way to be as truthful as possible with his feelings, even if he struggles to communicate them in an adequate manner. You decided to respond in turn, smiling wide. Out of the corner of your eye, you catch a glimpse of your reflection against the window, and your face is getting a little red too. You borrow Simon's words from earlier. Borrow, yeah. I like you a lot too, not just friends, kind of like. You speak frankly. Simon freezes completely for a heartbeat and another. All noise fades into the void, off into the void. Your surroundings hold its breath in Simon's stead, then slowly exhale. The world keeps turning despite its momentarily pause. With deliberate slowness, Simon turns to you, You do? He manages to force us out. You confirm this. Simon's eyes grow wide. Really? You give your head confirmation. You're not pulling my leg or anything, right? Because if so, you have a really sick sense of humor. He can't help but burst out laughing, and Simon lets out a cry. Wait, what's so funny? Did I miss something? It takes you a little bit before you calm down. You know what Simon's confusion is stemming from denial, but from complete and utter dereliction and joy. Since words aren't quite fully cementing this, you reach over. You put your hand on top of Simon's. His breath hitches, and his tail snaps straight behind him. You feel his hand trembling, but as the seconds pass, it eventually stills. Simon turns his hand over to lace his fingers with yours. He grips your hand back tenderly, squeezing a bit, like he's confirming to himself that this is really happening. You let him. It doesn't hurt, and you know he wouldn't do so purposely. Simon swallows thickly. Then he pulls you close. Though he let go of your hand, he wraps both arms around you in a hug. His embrace is warm and safe, a sweater on a breezy autumn day, a hot drink on a cold winter night. The world doesn't fall away like you thought it would, but the contact anchors you to solid ground. Sorry for the stuttering, my goodness. Simon's message is clear. He will be a harbor for your ship. Whether sunny skies or stormy seas await you at the horizon, you can always come back to him. Isn't that so sweet? You miss him already when he pulls away. Simon looks at you like you're the northern star to his lost traveler. There's so many sweet words. He tucks a wayward strand of hair behind your ear. Jeremy. No! His hand hovers down the length of your arm as he sits up properly against, but they come to a stop and envelope your own hands. Simon lifts one of your hands, holding it delicately. He rubs his thumb across the back of your hand, then dips his head to your knuckles. His thumb rubs over the spot where his lips touched. Simon's smile is infectious. We should commemorate this, don't you think? So Simon takes his cup and shifts it towards you. You take yours and raise it against close. Cheers, Jeremy. Simon gives you one last wink. Wherever we end up, I'll do my best to make the road there fun, if nothing else. You tap your cups against each other and set about finishing your drinks. You hold hands the entire way through, even as you leave the cafe. You take your first steps together with Simon towards the future as you both first. Simon's success obtained Simon's heart. Wow. So I was going to make this part 5, but I guess I'll combine it with the last episode. Crazy. Or part 4. What is it? I don't remember. I don't remember what I said. Wow, I definitely want to play more of this. This game is so much fun! I'll definitely try to do more in total. So it'll be like longer episodes, maybe 45 minutes each. I'm hoping to do so. Who knows when I'll play this again. But thank you all so much for watching. This game is so sweet. I need to try to donate some money to these people when I remember. But with that, don't forget to comment, tell me how you feel about this game, and I will of course see you on the next one. Goodbye everyone.